Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar Stuff and welcome to part 2 in my guitar lesson series for UFO's final album with Paul Chapman, 1983's Making Contact. Now I did Blinded by a Lie, which I will put a link to up here, I think. The next song in the album is Diesel in the Dust. Now what I think I'll do is I'll go through these in the order that I did the covers of. I left Diesel in the Dust till I think about the last one because between you and me it's very difficult to play. Between you and me. You see what I did there? So yes, I'll leave Diesel in the Dust till the last lesson, till I remind myself how to play it again because it's difficult, as I say. So I think the next song I did was When It's Time to Rock. So I will do that just now. So here we go. This is the main riff. It's the intro riff and the main riff of the tune. It goes like this. Now what that is the 5th fret of the bottom E string, playing an A note, hammer on to the 7th fret, to the 5th fret of the A string, flatten your finger, go over to the 5th fret of the D string and then come back to the 7th fret of the A string. So I'll play that very slowly. And then once you get up to speed, it goes like this. And the next part goes like this. So what that is, it's the 7th fret of the A string, the last note you played in the previous measure, to the 5th fret of the A string, back to the 7th fret of the A string. It's counted like 1, 2, 3. And then you hit the 7th fret of the D string, which you bend semitone, down to the 5th fret of the D string, back to the 7th fret of the A string. So I'll play that part slowly. So those two parts together, slowly, go like this. So really you're just playing the 5th fret and the 7th fret of the E, A, D strings. You don't play any other notes apart from that, apart from the bend. Apart from the bend on the 7th fret, the D string. So I'll play that probably up to speed. And then get into the chorus. It plays the first part. So it's the 5, 7 on the E string, and then 5 on the A, 5 on the D, and then it goes to an E chord, E power chord up here on the 7th. So it goes like this. So it actually hits an E note, the 7th fret of the A string before he plays a power chord. And then the same measure again. And then this time to a D chord. And then the same again. Then to a B power chord. And then the last one, I think he's playing the same bit beginning. But then instead of going to an E, he's playing back to the 5th fret of the E string, the A note, before he hits an A chord. So I think it goes like this. Now that's quite tricky to play because you're coming back from the 5th fret of the D string to the 5th fret of the A, so I play it with a different finger. So I'm going across with my first finger, and then when I'm coming back to the A, I'm moving my second finger over to play the A power chord. So it's quite tricky. So I'll play that chorus slowly, the whole thing slowly. I'll do that again. Then there's a run from the end of the chorus going back into the verse. It goes like this. Now, that's tricky to get up to speed. Slowly, it's the 5th fret of the G string down to the 4th fret of the G string, to the 7th fret of the D string, to the 5th fret of the D string, back to the 4th fret of the G string, to the 7th fret of the D, to the 5th fret of the D, back into the intro riff. He hits an E. So yeah, it's quite tricky. I'll play it very slowly going back into the verse. So really he's starting the second verse rather than on the usual A. He's starting on the E as he's coming off that run. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, essentially it's just this run and then into a normal verse, but instead of starting the verse on an A, you start it on the E. And it goes round that whole thing twice. So after the second chorus it plays these power chords. So they are, it's an E to the D, and then D to C, C, A, D, then the D sharp to the E again. Plays that again. So on the fourth one, the last one, it goes from the D to the B. So I'll play that whole part. And then into the solo, which is basically over an E, then an A chord. Just sort of chugging away, as it were. Now, the first part of the solo is like a harmony solo, which I did on my cover. I'll link to the cover below or up there, wherever it works. Now, I'm not sure this is 100% correct, but this is how I played it. So it starts on the 12th fret of the G string, down to 11th fret, to the 9th fret, then over to the 9th fret of the D, to the 7th fret of the G, to the 9th fret of the D. So that's the first part. I'll play that slowly. It plays the 9th fret of the D again, down to the 7th, and then the 7th fret down to the 5th, to the 7th, back to the 9th. So I'll play the whole thing slowly. So that's the main rhythm guitar parts for When It's Time to Rock by UFO from their 1983 Making Contact album. There's not too many things in it. There's the main riff, and then the chorus riff, and there's a interlinking part which I tried to play slowly, a run which connects those two parts together, which is quite tricky to get up to speed with the tune. And then there's a slower part where he's playing those power chords, the E, D, C, A power chords, and then into the solo. As I said, the solo is mostly in E and then over to A. I'll put a link, as I've said 3 times in this video, I'll put a link below to my cover of this, which you can watch how these parts fit together. And you know, I would say when it gets to parts you're not sure of, just slow the video down. You can slow the video down on the YouTube, and it keeps the tuning. It just slows the parts down. If there's anything you're not sure of, just do that. And then if you still can't work out, feel free to put a question below, and I'll hopefully answer it correctly. So thank you for tuning in, folks. That's another UFO song in the bag. Still got a few to go. I think I've probably still got 6 to go. And as I've said previously, it's been a real pleasure doing these tunes. It's a huge part of my childhood, and getting into rock music was these Paul Chapman UFO albums. So cheers for now, folks. Speak soon.